All right, good morning, guys. I should be live there. Quick sound check. Can I hear you, Osborne? I should be able to hear you. I don't hear you for some reason. Hello, hello. Sweet. Audio's loud and clear. Oh, do I need to listen to the actual stream to hear you? That might be it. Oh, they can hear me. Well. All right. Well, Osborne is just going to be a pretty face there in the corner. Yeah, I'm going to jump on we'll jump on voice call with you real quick. Yo. You can hear me through the other chat though, right? Oh, okay. Sweet. We'll just talk through here. We did test this last night though, by the way. All right, let's run it and we'll let this work for the day. Since we already got this going. We got about 30 seconds till the bell here. I do remember that was one of the things about YouTube is that it was a little bit more delayed. All right. Well, the audio for him's coming through me. Yeah. It'd be all right. It's about 25 seconds delayed. Okay, well that's not ideal. We'll make it work for today though, since we're already live. And then figure out what to do from there. All right, so nice little gap down here, kind of across the board, and nice is a little bit exaggerated here. I was honestly thinking we'd get a gap up this morning, and that would have made things a whole lot easier. We've got levels in here for the S&Ps, 59, 65, 50s up here, and realistically, we can't do a ton until we get up over those levels. Same thing in the NASDAQ, it's 453s. The Dow is actually coming from a nice level down here at 323 that we front ran the other day. We've now tested it in pre-market here, getting a pretty decent bounce. And we'll see what that wants to do. But I do like the initial kind of rally off the open here. That's been the theme for these gap downs lately, is that we'll rally it right off the open and continue to kind of push that higher throughout the day. So kind of like what we did on Monday. So I'm kind of waiting to see if that's going to be essentially the course of action, and just look to find something with relative strength. I think that's the ultimate goal here on the day. I saw that. Yeah, a little AMD action.
Looks good. Daily district.
Yeah, not bad. I like the. Let me take a look here. We do still have that level up there at 116s. It is green on the day, however, though. I like it. I'm just going to be patient with it, though. I don't think there's anything we have to do necessarily right off the rip here. I would like to find some good relative strength names, though. Target, obviously not one of those. PANW actually down. I think Julian mentioned that this morning. I don't know what to do with it, but it's moving lower pretty aggressively here initially. Baidu doesn't look bad on Scap up for earnings. Still got some work to do yet before we can do anything with it, but Meta about to turn green. PLTR rallying back some. Netflix just doing its own thing every single day. Excuse me. Thank you, thank you. If anybody out there in YouTube land and all that has anything worth watching, please feel free to throw it in. Netflix breaking those highs. All right. Decent push there so far out of S&Ps and NASDAQ. The Dow looks like it might want to come back and retest that 323 area, which we did test it here in the pre-market just a little bit ago. So I wouldn't be too terribly surprised if that does come back down and want to retest. It could give us the divergence here for potential longs on the day. It'd just be kind of tough to see that rally into 436s there on the Dow and then kind of give it all back. I did not, just now thought of this, I did not take my bee pollen this morning, so I was wondering why I was sniffling. Not that that has any impact on anybody's trading, but Amazon kind of weak. Google coming back a little bit here. That had some whippy things happening to it yesterday. I'm not quite sure what, but the AMD topping tail does not look as attractive now, even though it's trying to work back into it some.
Yeah, it's keep showing that below the actually. I was supposed to see that. Light risk, the 115,
Okay.
came up to 130, stops 3.550 right now.
All right. Well.
Hit market 21.
Yeah.
We'll have a full on in there.
I think that's going to be the big thing today is whether markets actually want to move or not. Which at the moment, nice run out of Meta there. The Dow came down, almost made new lows, and then we've now been popping again here. I still don't see any great relative strength names. Meta is probably the best one, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not opposed to longs in there. We just need to get up over the 638.04s, which we're currently maybe trying to do just now. We tested up 638's the high so far this morning. I'm going to keep that on watch. If we can get above there and then get some sort of reason or signal to go long markets, then Meta is on top priority spot at the moment, up over 638.04s. I don't really know where it goes, but yeah, actually. And then 669s. I'm not opposed to that idea. Let me see what these are trading for. We got 2 days. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Damn, these 640s are expensive.
Yeah, it's about 650 as well.
Yeah, I pulled up the 645s here. They're 520. Low of day is like 270 on those. So they're moving pretty well here. I just like a pullback. No, I said a pullback. It's not what I wanted to see right there. Well, that's unfortunate.
We got some.
Yeah. A little continuation here, 641s, 641.39s. We might have to wait for that. Can we get a 15-minute 1, 2, 3? Like, my first target's 656. Yeah, we could in theory do that, but I don't love that from a risk reward standpoint. Bobby said LLY. Yeah, LLY is weak though. I want something that looks like Meta, like before this last 5-minute bar. Essentially, is what I'm looking for. I also really like the idea, and I do have some small long already in there, is in Tesla for the week. If we can get up over 350.34s, I think Tesla has room. First target's like 372s. Especially if market rallies this move back and we can get up over 453s, then I think there's a good shot at a nice kind of end of week trend that could develop. We could also go nowhere, which I'm totally also aware of and would be okay with, and we just essentially turns into a nothing kind of week. But if we do get through there, there's a lot of room. I still think Dow needs to come down and tag this 323s first before we, I mean, I say that NASDAQ's already rallied 100 points from lows, right? But I think that needs to occur and then start rolling from there into some sort of uptrend. We can get all four markets moving here.
You got the 360s on plus? That's light risk, but yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, 360s.
See what they're trading for.
Like 290. $3. Does this play my, this doesn't play desktop audio, does it? Okay, good. About to say, this is not an appropriate song to have.
No, you can't hear nothing.
All right, good. That's the only thing I don't like about YouTube is I got to be careful what I do and don't play because there's copyright shit. What we got? 30? Is it 31 people on? This is a rookie numbers. Oh, you know what? We could actually just post it. We didn't even post it in the free chat. Yeah, AMD is moving.
Mm-hmm. What's good?
Don't talk about her.
Let her do her thing. Looking at this meta.
I know. I still have those calls queued up. I just don't think there's anything. Just don't think there's an entry that I'm going to be happy with at the moment. And they're really too expensive. Like, you can't just step out and buy something. They're just too expensive for that. I mean, the 645s, 570. They're probably like $15 at Targets, though. There's about $5 worth of premium in them. Google, however, I kind of want to make a bold statement on Google. I think if it can clear this 169.30s, then I think Google goes back to $200. Damn you, Meta. Damn you, Meta.
Everything's trying to run away. Did anybody get an AMD? I called it out. They did get a pullback. A little over 2 hours here.
I don't actually know if people can hear you.
On the road.
Your mic was working yesterday though.
I mean, I can throw it on. They can probably hear me now. We're gonna start echoing.
So I don't have the YouTube stream on, I don't think. So everyone else should be able to hear you.
I just don't want voice chat to echo. You know what I'm doing, so.
Yeah, it's coming through my speakers and then through the mic here. It was working though yesterday when we tested it.
You got me?
I still got you.
Let's try this. No, it's still gonna echo everything. Can you hear me better? Maybe that works. Maybe not.
I mean, I still hear you good, so.
Put my stream down, just put the mic back on. Like it's gonna be echoing.
Same. All right. I really like this Google. Oh, now I hear myself. I hate audio. Where am I hearing myself at?
Alright, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll make it work. Um, I really like this Google. What if NASDAQ rally back too? Somehow, of all things, Tesla doesn't even move. It's just pinned at 450. Or not even 4. Where did I even get 450 from? 345. There's a move here, 168.27s in Google. I kind of just want to put something on a little bit further out. I don't really want to constrict the time frame on it. I think realistically, as long as we have like 4 to 6 weeks on this thing to play out, then I think it'll be fine. So I mean, I'm just kind of looking at, like, if we sell, well, those are for next week. Hold on, let me see. If we go to July, that should give us plenty of time, right? It's 58 days till expiration. It's $5 wide spreads. So 170, 165s by the 195, 200 call spread. It's a risk 3 to make 7. It's not terrible. Break even's like 168, basically right here. Well, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, not terrible. Let me see. If you buy straight up 180s, they're like $3.55. So you got to make the move to 200. We probably could look at, I'm just doing some pricing here. Let's go 185 maybe by 215. Oh, it's $1. That's not bad. Well, the butterfly's $1, $15 wide. I don't know. I'm gonna wait on it. Still not my. I mean, I like the chart. It might just be better to trade it with straight shares. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll give it some time to develop. I don't think we have to press the button right this specific second. Yeah, I mean, essentially we just use the daily move as the trigger into it. I mean, it reversed that big down day from, a couple weeks ago, which is a pretty important thing. It got a little squirrely, a couple days ago, got a little squirrely yesterday, and then now trying to push back above that. So I think it's good for longs. It's the only one that really hasn't, I mean, to some degree, like when you look at Meta, right? We're basically kind of back up closer to highs. Like Google's still down at like what would be Meta's like 550 area, right? So it's rallied at least 100 points from there. There's a couple names. Apple hasn't quite made the move back yet. Google's been one of those. It's a little bit of a laggard. But I like it. I do like it. If it doesn't make the move this week, looking at next week's options probably isn't necessarily a bad idea. Yeah, you just kind of need more time to get to 185s and then 191s. Next week's probably a little too close. All right, Meta, if you can chill out, that'd be great. Just come on back down to 638s. Yeah, there's no Q level here. This week could be different, or I say this week. This time could be different than earlier in the week. If we do manage to rally, which we've done, and then we start selling off from this area, kind of like what we expected on Monday there, that could pose as an interesting situation. I don't know what we trade it with, but anybody have any relative weakness names? I mean, LLY was one, PANW, but it already traded 179s. FSLR, room to 148. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Dow did rally. Came, huh?
Little failed too many buys here on those things.
Yeah. Zach says TMUS. All that selling and Google actually just put in new highs on the day. We're flipping that move here right at 10 o'clock. Yeah, TMUS, not bad. Yeah, I think Meta's going to pull back 638s. I don't think Google cares, honestly. We could honestly probably put positions on in Google anywhere at some point today. And by the close, we're probably going to be higher. Like market's getting a decent, unless markets completely crash and we go to like 700s on NASDAQ, then I would see it having a problem. But this strength right now in Google is impressive to say the least. We broke through that 167.29s there, breaking through 168.27s. Like I said, up over 169s. I think from a swing perspective, it's pretty damn good. All the way back up in towards 200. And it's about to be at 169.32s now. Yeah. It is. It needs to chill though for a minute. Whoa. Whoa.
News or something, or just wait?
It's gotta be news. Gotta be news. What is it? NASDAQ with an aggressive move there. Damn, that might ruin the day though. I don't love that. Anybody know what the news was? I don't necessarily care, but I'm just curious if it's Trump saying something, then we can like kind of continue, but I say there wasn't. I mean, we're past 10 o'clock. There shouldn't have been a 10 a.m. news. At least not that I saw. Google chart looks great, by the way. I just can't buy it with 18 5-minute bars to the upside at this point. Those 175s from next week, they've already moved like 50% just in the last like $3. It needs to chill out and then we'll find an entry into it.
Gang, gang. We're going crazy.
Yeah. I really wish it didn't do that and gave us an entry in 167, 168 area.
More than 169 is the confirmation.
Oh no. There's need an entry and I don't see the entry. Oh, sweet.
Like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. Shadow said that the EU prepares a trade proposal for the US to steer momentum into talks. Whatever that means. Aren't we already talking? Huh.
Along this NASDAQ, but like you entry.
Yeah, I was looking at Meta just now too. A 15-minute 1, 2, 3 looks really good. And maybe just give it a wider stop and put it under 638. It's like a 3-point stop. There's still 15 points to target, so it's still 5 to 1. Just straight off on price. Oh.
I'm not sure.
Excuse me. Dude, my abs are sore. I don't even know why.
Abs?
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on the audio for YouTube, Abel. It worked yesterday when we tested, but not this morning apparently. Oh, I'm reacting too late. Oh, yeah, that might be. We might have to just do the audio in, and I've got it set to the lowest latency that YouTube will give us. So we might just have to do the voice in Discord, and everybody can get the delay on YouTube, I guess. I don't know if I like that either.
Maybe not. You want that here?
I think it's fine.
I want something great.
Huh?
I want something great.
I know, that's. I'm watching this Russell Dow reaction so far off that news, and I'm not entirely convinced I like it. It probably has no impact on Meta or Google. But I also don't just want to put a position on to put a position on either. I mean, if this, the argument there would be essentially that this ends up being the range on the day, that news spike ends up being the highs, and we start working back into fading that some of that move, or at least fade it back some before we go higher. That's probably what it is. I also do have a strict cutoff time today because I got to meet a guy over at the shop, which is kind of unfortunate timing, but
Yeah, I gotta pop off the 9:30. 10:30 Eastern. AMD breaking down. We can take some profits up there, but the doors. You can step over those two.
just roll that over into Google.
I'm looking at it. I'm never trying to choose it.
Like I said, I really don't think it matters where you buy Google on the day, because at this point, unless market absolutely tanks, it should probably close higher.
I like the idea of going out a little bit on the.
You said going out a little bit on Google.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Going out a little bit. Yeah, I'm looking at like the June 20th, June 27, 180s.
Yeah, the monthly expirations. We could probably even step in closer realistically and do I'm in the 170 for June. They're like $5, 560. Be a little bit more expensive, but we play a little bit tighter on it. I don't know. Again, my fear here is that range is maybe in. Which I guess if that's the case, or if that's the high of the day and we end up selling off, then we should be looking for relative weakness shorts, but I don't love that either. Worst way. Tesla tried to make a move, got smacked back down. PLTR ugly from that rally. Russell not showing good strength either here. Like I said, the way the Russell and Dow are reacting to that news is not necessarily my favorite thing to see here, so
Yeah, so everyone that streams on YouTube, this delayed with this day, it's 15, 30 seconds delayed.
how long? How much delay?
I know, let's check. I'll put a timer on. Hold this, I'm gonna let it go. 20 seconds delayed.
20 seconds.
Guess that's not terrible, but Airbnb week. I don't know if there's anything to do with it.
You said it's moving?
Not really, it's just weak compared to everything else. The markets are doing nothing. I'm so quiet.
Apple's got a decent little bounce going here. Trying to rally back some. Yeah, Airbnb looks lower. FSLR, PANW, same thing. I think we might end up waiting until closer towards like 11:30 for an entry in Google. 11:15, 11:30. See how this thing wants to handle this push up into 169s. So far, finding a little bit of resistance there. Meta's just hanging in this 638, 641 range. Like I said, it's going to be tough to want a long unless we get markets to move in our direction, our favor here. And we kind of had the start of it with that news, but not really able to follow through. I think NASDAQ's got to come down and kind of take out this 362s before it can make that move higher. If we come down and take that out and then can manage to hold it and rally back pretty aggressively, then you could take an aggressive entry before we get over 453s. But if we take that out and can't respond immediately, then I think probably going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation there.
Is this the 2-minute entry in Google?
Yeah, I just don't like the market.
So should we have a push-up contest or what?
A push-up context? I mean, if you can do 100, just do 50 for you, 50 for me.
Might take me a few reps or resets.
Got to dig deep.
Yeah, we gotta figure out this shit.
Yeah, for sure. Mm. Meta looks decent still, though. Meta and Google are still top line. I mean, Netflix is obviously doing its thing, but I don't know where that goes. It's in wide open territory, though.
Oh yeah, Netflix the level and then work with the day.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take these Teslas off. 250s, yeah. All right, we're gonna flatten that. It had its shot to make the move, just can't do it.
I'm gonna pull the trigger on Google.
The 170s for this week. They're not bad. $1.63 here. We're hanging right in this area. I mean, realistically, it's a dollar stop if you want to size it for like basically back down to 165, which I don't think it's going to need that much room. I'm going to do that initially, I think, here.
What you got?
I'm going to take a little bit of Google, and I'm just going to leave it with a wider stop here. If NASDAQ doesn't want to make that push back down into the 362s here, and we do hold, and Google just kind of stays up here between 168, 169. Meta's trying to trigger now as well. I'm just going to give it the room under 167, which would be kind of back towards, whatever this 945 bar is here. So essentially looking at that and going, somewhere down under $1 basically is essentially where those contracts were trading in. So just give it a little bit of wide room, not full size, and then look to see if we can pick up some sort of swing with an actual, I say an actual, but like a triggered entry a little bit later on here. And just let it kind of bounce around in this area. It's the best relative strength name on the board. And if NASDAQ does get up through 453s, then it might not present another opportunity.
I think the 170s is
170s for this week?
that's what you took?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hold on. I got a tinkle. Un momento. All right, we're back.
I'm gonna turn my mic on. I got no responses. If anybody heard me.
How did it worked perfectly? I don't understand.
Okay, I gotta jump off in like 5 minutes. Either way.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit after that, but I gotta roll by 10:45. The dilemma I'm having is I kind of want to put some meta on here as well, but I don't really know that we need to. This down move and stuff is still making me think that we might want to test a little bit lower first.
Really like that 638 level get tested.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some news the other way. We might get that little 362 test. Nice little shove lower there. That's a nice little NASDAQ long right there if you want it. Probably good timing with Meta too. That little shove down and rally back right there. We didn't quite get down into 362s, but it's a nice little rally back. If we aren't going to trade down and get those 362s, that low just now to 377s is probably it. We did kind of crack that in the S&Ps and the Russell and the Dow. It's a good little fighting stance we'll see from overall markets. Ticks have been fairly weak on the day here. I mean, there was minus 600 on the tick. We got a couple minutes left here on Meta. 641.39 is the level there. There's a really nice little entry here in Meta that I don't think is bad, honestly. Meta 645s, 555s, 480s that low. Google wants to hold pretty bad. Like this move out of Google so far. $10.29. We got a couple seconds left. I'm gonna take a little meta here as well. The 645s and stops down under these lows on these contracts are like 485. So it's about $1, give or take, on these contracts. I think it's good timing with market here too. Google wanting to hold up. We're about 60% on size. I like them. Targets are up to 656s here. So we got about a 60% position size in Meta, about and not quite 60% size on Google here, which is already kind of moving a little bit there. Those contracts are now, well, they were just like $2 and change. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the plan. I mean, the morning write-up specifically said, and that's all I'm literally doing here is following this, and just essentially saying that a great relative strength name would be much appreciated here, but probably won't see what that is until 10 or so. It's now 10:30. We've gone through our first hour of the day here. I like the timing with Nasdaq. If we can hold from here, then get up over 453s, and I think we're good to go. So yeah, we're gonna take a little bit of risk on those two names, and I think that's it. I think that's all we can do on the day. Russell and Dow still look like they kind of want to go lower, which is a slight concern, of course, but I like the relative strength out of Google and Meta here. So I'm going to put my risk on in there like I already did, and then just rock with it from there. I think that's the only thing we can do. If we get stopped out on this, then it's kind of going to be the theme of the week. So far, we've tried catching the long in Tesla already this week and has not wanted to work. And it could end up being the same case here, right? And NASDAQ reverses and pulls back lower, then it is what it is. But again, we're keeping risk, all the things in check, and I think that's all we can do. We might end up getting a divergence down here and then get a rally back. See if NASDAQ wants to hold. Russell or Dow makes new lows. Maybe Dow tags those 323s. And then from there we can rally back and make something happen. So like I said, that's where I'm at with it. And I think that's all we can do. Kind of an uneventful day, even given the range, the move in which we've had. So Dow breaking down there though. On its way to 323s. So yeah. All right, Osborne had to jump off. All right, man. Have a good one, bro. All right, I got to get ready to roll as well. You guys know what positions I have on. I still think there's a slight chance NASDAQ comes down and kind of plays a little shimmy shake, peekaboo, under 362s, and then can manage to get a rally back from there. Again, the only caution, fear, whatever it is you want to say about that working is just the weakness in the Russell and the Dow. I think we got to get that situated in order to really get the big move going. So that's why we're trading with a little bit smaller size here. So if we do take a stop, it's going to be roughly a little over an R, which has kind of been the goal in which we've been aiming for each day, is take a little bit of risk, a little smaller size on obviously relative strength or relative weakness names here, and then go from there. We had some nice trades on the NASDAQ yesterday, and then they ultimately didn't get any follow through, which is likely going to continue to be kind of the case here. So I don't think that that would be a big surprise to anybody based on kind of what this looks like. All right. I got to roll. I will be back here in a bit, but we got some positions on. Google, I wouldn't mind necessarily holding over into tomorrow. Meta, I also wouldn't be opposed to that if it can manage to push kind of up through this 641 area. But if NASDAQ stays weak and kind of rolls over from here, that would be a little bit of an issue. So I wouldn't really want to press that too much, but yeah. Anyways, that's what I got. Thank you guys for jumping on. Sorry for the technical issues there for whatever reason that wasn't wanting to work this morning. But yeah, I'll be back on. We'll be back on the Discord voice tomorrow for sure, and start doing some of the screen share and stuff like that inside of WAP. Since Discord likes to be a little funky about it sometimes, so you'll have the option of either just straight screen share and voice or back to the original voice. Hopefully there's not a delay on WAP. I don't think there is. And we'll kind of rock with it from there. So anyways, that's what I got. Hope you guys all had a good day. Trying to stay safe out there. I don't think it's the time to press really anything. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. So I'll leave you with this kind of like little thought that we were talking about is like every week over the last 4 weeks, we've had some type of options trade that has gone for 2,500% or more. And when you look at the weeks in which we've had, from a weekly chart perspective, you just look at the overall NASDAQ and you go, hey, here's the weekly chart. And you look at the last 4 weeks, and then you look at this week, and it's like, oh, it kind of makes sense that we're just doing this little thing that we're doing right now, which is a little bit higher, a little poke through. And then now we're back down towards lows, kind of a little poke through. And then now we're trying to find our way back into kind of that middle of the road for the range on the week. So again, hence why the relative strength names are the standout here, because those are the ones that are actually getting the movement. NASDAQ's just kind of coming back from the lower end of the range on the week. And like I said, I think that can continue throughout this week. So yes, it may end up being a red week, right? We might take a loss in a couple little long attempts here and there. throughout the week, waiting for what would be that next big move, coming out of the markets, right? Do we get a larger pullback on the weekly chart, or do we continue this rally? And when you couple that with just where the charts are at the moment, with also then the fact that we have Memorial Day coming up here next week, markets are going to be a little bit slower, probably Thursday, Friday, tomorrow, Friday. And then from there, going into next week, obviously we got a long weekend and things like that. So people could be stepping away from the desk, could see a little bit lower volume. We talked about that this morning as well, and all of that fun stuff. So anyways, that's what I got. If you're waiting for a long in the NASDAQ, wait for up over 453s. I like it if it can do the thing, and we'll go from there. So anyways, hope you guys all have a great rest of the day.